not really consciously processing, it's always there. You're thinking about it. It's on your mind. That will constantly keep that ball rolling, keep that intent moving. So if you do those things, then you'll be a lot more effective than just sitting down and doing it once. All right? And this is a big one. How do you know when not to interfere? Okay, disease and pain is a useful tool. We grow with that. You take somebody's disease and pain away, you may be taking away an opportunity that they need. That may be a plan that they have laid out for themselves. Don't think that all disease and things like that are all negative. It's not our job to change other people's lives. Sometimes not even if they ask us to. So how do you know when you should do these sorts of things and when you should not? First of all, as a newbie at this, if you're just learning this and just practicing it, you're not going to have enough effectiveness in the beginning to hurt anybody anyway. You can help a little. You can probably help more than you can hurt, so don't worry about it. The more you do it, the more evidence you get that you are affecting things. You'll grow, like anything else. The more practice you get, the better you get at it. So after you've done this 50 times to 50 different people, you start to get very effective because you know what works and what doesn't. You keep track of that. Those that get better, well, could have gotten better anyway, but maybe not. Keep track of your statistics. You have to do a lot. You begin to feel, when I did it that way and it felt like this and I got in that state, those almost always worked. When I did it this other way and got in that state, they almost always didn't. Well, then learn something from that. Stop doing it the way they didn't and go into doing it the way they did. You have to learn iteratively, and you have to do it with feedback and evidence. So that's the way you come up on this. But what happens is that if you try to work on somebody and heal them when that's a bad thing to do, you will find that it immediately replaces itself. In other words, you'll heal them and the black will go white and they'll be like that, and you'll look back in on them in a couple hours and it's black again. And then you'll go heal them, you'll turn it to white and it's black again. If it is unusually resistive and completely ignores what you're doing and keeps putting itself back, that is the first message that it probably needs to be that way. It's being put back by the person that owns it. Okay, it's on their path. So when you find that you're being rebuffed and it's not working as usual, that's the first sign that you should leave it alone. Eventually, your intuition should grow, and you can kind of assess that. You can assess the problem, assess the person, get a sense of whether you should do this or not. It's intuitive. You just know. You get to the point, and you listen to the person, or you just connect with them, and you know that you should just butt out, that this is not something you should do. And the feeling is very strong and not easy to miss. So eventually, you'll just know intuitively. In the beginning, you're not going to do that much harm. Don't worry about it. And in the meantime, practice so that you can do better and gather that evidence. The evidence and the practice is what really will bring this skill out to where you can get very good at it. Now, I would judge that if any of you worked at this for as little as 3 months, doing a couple of these a week even, you would probably, at the end of 3 months, be an effective healer. You could learn to do this. It's not that hard. You can be an effective healer, but you need to practice and you need to get evidence. Otherwise, you won't know whether you actually have a clear intent that's moving data and changing this reality or whether you don't. That's the only way to convince yourself. You must collect the data. All right, so for the truth, Keith, would you tell us who these people are and what their illnesses were, and you guys can look at your own charts and what you drew and see if what you got is what Keith's story is. Now, I don't know who these people are, so it's a blind experiment for me. I'm not involved in it at all. I have no idea what they had. So when I made up these directions, I had no idea actually what the illness was, whether my directions really fit well or not. But that helps the integrity of it is if I don't know, so that I'm not projecting anything to you. So, Keith.
Okay, Tom. First off, Donald W. Donald W. is my father. He is in the UK. His main health problem is heart failure. He has a thickening of the wall on the left side of his heart. severe shortage of breath and fatigue, medium pain, the result of the termination, the final phases of a bypass surgery that he had, quadruple bypass, in 1995. That is his main health problem. He also has a little asbestos on his lungs. Not serious. It's a lifetime build-up from his profession. One other thing that he has is in 2004, he had a fall resulting in several breakages in both arms and his left wrist. Severe calcification has built up, particularly in his left shoulder, which is a mild ache, but he has little or no movement in his left shoulder and his left arm, and he cannot raise that arm above his shoulder height. That is Donald W.
Okay. Next one.
Okay, Judy W. Judy has macular degeneration, a degenerative eye disease which began in 1992. There is modern severity of this problem at present. In 2007, she had pancreatitis, being hospitalized for that in March of 2009, and this is a recurring problem. Number 3, my friend Jack M. He has it's a chronic pain patient. He has a condition known as failed back syndrome. He has had 2 spinal discs that are bulging and out of alignment as a result of an injury suffered to the spine back in 1995. This was exacerbated by a rupture of the problem area in 2004. The pain is a medium to severe pain which he experiences on a daily basis in the middle center area of his back. This also leads to sciatica with a severe pain in the back of both legs and into both feet. He would describe the pain as being like hot pins pushed into his back with a feeling of hot wax dripping down the back of both his legs. He rates the pain level as being a 7 out of 10 with bouts of nausea. Since the age of 12, Jack has also been diagnosed as suffering from the following: obsessive compulsive disorder, major depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and panic disorder. They are ongoing problems. That is Jack M. 4th, Isabella L. She has a genetic disease known as pachyonychia congenita, a painful callousing of the feet and fingers due to pressure and friction. The more that the pressure and friction, the faster the rate of callus buildup. These have been almost lifelong. They onset of the signs at 8 months of age with prominent calluses by the age of 4 or 5. She also has scoliosis, and there is a current discomfort with difference in leg lengths and resulting ankle pain. This began at around 14 to 15 years of age. 2 separate practitioners have also found that she has unresolved depressions in the heart that may or may not be a result of having found a direction for her life mission or her work. That is Isabella L, number 4.
Okay. So you can look at those. Now, of course, he gave you histories on all of those, but we only actually regressed history on one of them. The rest of them were intended to be in the present. So make sure that, you should not have gotten those old injuries. You should have just gotten what was in the present on those, only the one. But at the time, we didn't know which was going to be assigned to which, so I asked Keith to get the data on all of them. So, all right, the pictures. There were 2 pictures up here. And here they are. Now, these are hard pictures. Why are they hard pictures? Because they're pictures of things. Pictures of people, particularly emotional states, tend to make easier targets. These are pictures of things. Now, there is some emotion with perhaps either one of them, depending on your view. But so we have a Christmas tree and we have the Statue of Liberty. All right. Now, yes, of course it counts. Of course it counts. Yes, the shapes that are inside, like this, just spiky head would count. This would be, if you got balls around, that counts. You often get that sort of thing. You're not going to get a photographic image a lot of time. Remember, what you get is data. and you have to interpret the data. Okay, so, you know, you might interpret this as, you know, somebody doing the fist in the air, you know, instead of the Statue of Liberty. It's just how you get data, and then you have to interpret it. So don't expect a photograph. Expect something that this reminds you of in a way that you might interpret it. So that's what they are.
Tom, is it possible to clarify for people which of the two pictures was which? Was there a first picture and a second picture?
They were just both here.
Okay.
They would just have to look at the two pictures. I guess I didn't, I should have written that on them, picture 1 and picture 2, but yeah. Yeah. So now lastly, Keith and Donna, tell us what you did and what you were going to do.
Tom, on Thursday, June the 4th, between the hours of 4:30 and 5 o'clock, I went bowling at the local bowling alley. I used a very bright orange ball. It was very busy, there was a lot of noise, and I tell you the one thing I remember, the people next to us were eating a very large pizza, and it smelled delicious.
On my activity, I ran across this quote from Carl Sagan. If you want to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first create the universe. So that inspired me to make an apple pie for Keith on his birthday, July 1st, around 11 a.m., particularly green apples and my old-fashioned wooden rolling pin.